tools where players from Europe, for example, can come and decide on what will be the policy of the region in terms of standards making, etc. In Europe, we have this. It's a big question we can ask ourselves. So this is my message.
Thank you, Margot. Desiree has a question for you.
Yes, I hear what you say. I hear what you say in terms of the openness of the region in Europe to cooperate with all the other stakeholders, and that we have not seen a similar, as I say, welcoming environment anywhere else. And you're speaking from your personal experience, having dealt with 800 members around the world, I was just wondering if you think that interoperability is hardwired in all the other regions. Is that the foundation, the leading foundation and vision, the interoperability of the global network? Or do you see some regions are not having the same aim as interoperability of the global network?
If I understand the question correctly, I think interoperability is hardwired in any standardization exercise. And for that matter, it's sort of, we produce standards to try and reach out to the right level of interoperability so that business can develop. I wouldn't want to answer to this question, but maybe by another sort of side comment to this. The title of the panel is Smarter Regulation. I find what I've heard since yesterday morning, I wouldn't like to be in the shoes of a regulator, dear Klaus. Because what I heard since yesterday is actually what Freud would call double bind or triple bind. On the one hand, we had Mr. Sipila yesterday who said, my agenda is digitalization and deregulation. Then the next speaker was about, okay, we need better regulatory framework, smarter regulation or stronger regulation. Then we understand regulation should do this and should do that. So between a good regulator is a dead regulator, and we need somebody who is regulating the market the way it should be, I think your role is pretty difficult. What I would like to ask, and maybe this comes back to Desiree's question, we heard something yesterday. We heard very different things also. We heard somebody say, for every dollar invested in internet infrastructure or services, there is a $17 payback. My question is actually the $16 question. Who do the $16 go to? And this is where I see the role of the regulator, to make sure that there is some kind of market. I wouldn't want to call it regulation, but where does this money go to, and at what social cost? We hear some who say, okay, you have to give your data to make sure that the platforms are flourishing, etc. I think the role of the regulator is to make sure that these $16 are actually equally or shareable between the different market players in society, and that the cost of producing this $16 is not at the cost of each citizen being transformed into a huge data ATM machine without them even knowing where their data goes to. That, for me, is smarter regulation. So I don't know if this answers your question. I'm afraid not.
It does. I think it does in a way. I think where I was actually going to with this interoperability, I was also looking at other standards body organizations like the Internet Engineering Task Force and W3C and ITU, and wondering whether there are any similar programs within ETSI to do this encryption by default in standards.
I have, if I may, add something to your question. So you're Margot, you're a strategy person. So you see things in a very broad institutional framework. So and so we understand both regulation and standardization not only have technical economic market mechanism dimensions, they also have business dimensions, political dimensions. Well, what's your vision of this?
This is what I was trying to say at the beginning. I think it's really a 3 or 4 pillar thing that structured the market in the end. You need to have the business environment, and maybe the standards and the interoperability, the policy environment, etc. They go hand in hand. which is why we always make a plea with the Commission, etc., to have this sort of strategic dialogue, in particular for the DSM, which is, okay, how standards are going to support this, and how can, what is European, when I hear yesterday the Commission says, and I'm sorry, monsieur, the guy who said it is not in the room, the Commission will look at business models for IoT, my hair goes like this, because it's not, to my knowledge, the business of the Commission to do business models for IoT. So I would say everybody, it's a construction between standards, regulation, business, business strategies, etc. But it's the example, again, we're in Finland, which is the Nokia country, and this example shows very well that you are successful if everyone cooperates, everyone in his role. No more, no less. But that's the way we see it. But everyone in his role, and everyone legitimate in his role, everyone bold, and everyone cooperating in order to make the best out of it, including for competitiveness. To reply to Desiree's question, we have, first of all, in ETSI, as you know, and it's probably the same in IETF and ITU, I'm not sure about 3C, but the work program is made by members. So yes, but yes, there is a lot about security and encryption. I don't know if it's encryption by default, etc., but there is a lot, including on quantum cryptography and so forth and so on. So the programs are going on very well attended, both by governments and industry players. So I would suggest that you have a peep. Yeah, that you have a peep at the program if you're interested, yes.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Margot. I now turn to Sarah Zhao. Obviously the notion that to implement this concept of a competitive market dynamics I was referring to in my introduction, it's obviously absolutely critical to look at the world society, the world economics, and world markets as a whole. Sarah, what could you tell us about new developments in China regarding the telecom industry? And what will be the impact on innovation, on world markets, and what are the challenges for Chinese lawmakers?